I want to talk about antonymy of semantic relations. The term antonymy, generally speaking, it is a study of relations among words that are synonyms. And in today's topic, we are going through 5 concepts of antonymy. And they are complementary antonyms, gradable antonyms, relational opposites, Antiautonyms, and Autoantonyms. We are also going to look at some example pairs to better understand those 5 concepts. So firstly, let's look at complementary antonyms. So the definition of complementary antonyms: it is 2 antonyms related in such a way that the negation of one is the meaning of the other. And it has 2 features. One feature is that the form pairs which represent an either-or relationship. A second feature is the negation of one member of the complementary pair necessarily implies the other. Let's look at some example pairs of complementary antonyms. The first pair, alive and dead. According to complementary antonyms, if we negate the first word alive, such as the person isn't alive, that means this person is dead. If we negate the second word, such as the person isn't dead, that means the person is alive. So this pair forms an either-or relations. So it is complementary antonyms. Let's look at the second pair, male and female. According to complementary antonyms, if we negate the first word, this animal is not a male. That means this animal is a female. So if we negate the second word, this animal is not a female. So this animal is a male. So this pair forms an either-or relationship. So it is a complementary antonyms. Let's look at the third pair, true and false. If we negate the first word, it is not true. That means it's false. If we negate the second word, it is not false. That means it's true. So this pair forms an either-or relationship. So it is complementary antonyms. Let's look at the first pair, on and off. If we negate the first word on, so the light is not turned on. So that means the light is turned off. If we negate the second word, the light is not turned off. That means the light is on. So this pair forms an either-or relationship. So it is complementary antonyms. Let's look at the fifth pair, entrance and exit. If we negate the first word entrance, the gate of the hall is not the entrance. That means the gate of the hall is the exit. If we negate the second word, the gate of the hall is not exit. That means the gate of the hall is the entrance. So this pair forms either-or relationship. So it is also a complementary antonyms. Let's look at gradable antonyms. The concept of gradable antonyms, it is two antonyms related in such a way that more than one is less of the other. It has three features. The first feature is that they operate on a continuum. The second feature is that the negation of one member of the gradable pair does not necessarily imply the other. And its third feature is that they can be graded. Let's look at the example pairs of gradable antonyms. Let's look at the first pair, small and big. Firstly, you can see that it is not about from point A to point B. It is about a whole spectrum of the bigness. Secondly, you would ask yourself, it is small, but how small it is? It can be really small, medium small, or normal small, right? And it is big, how big is it? It can be really big, not that big, and normal big. So one's negation cannot be the other. Thirdly, as I've just said, the bigness and smallness can be gradable. And let's look at the second pair, old and young. Same as the first pair. It is about a whole spectrum of how old something is. And you would also ask yourself, how old is it? How old can it be, right? It can be not that old, really old, or normal old. And how young can it be? Really young, not that young, or normal young, right? So one's negation cannot be referring to the other, and they can also be graded. So they are gradable antonyms. Let's look at the third pair, high and low. Same as the first two, that it's about a whole spectrum. It's on a continuum. So how high can it be? Not that high, really high, or middle high. How low can it be? Not that low, middle low, or normal low. And one's negation doesn't necessarily apply to the other. They are gradable. So it's also a gradable antonyms. Let's look at the first pair, tall and short. Same as previous. It's about a spectrum of tallness, right? And can be middle tall, little tall, or normal tall. Can be really short, not that short, and middle short, right? And they can be graded, and it is also a gradable antonyms. Same as the fifth pair. It's about a spectrum of sadness and happiness. And the negation of one cannot apply to the other. and they are gradable. So it is also a gradable antonyms. Talking about gradable antonyms, here's another concept, not that important, but it's good to point it out. It's about the marked and unmarked gradable antonyms. So the concept of marked and unmarked gradable antonyms has 3 key points. The first one is that to decide if a gradable antonym is marked or unmarked is that if it suits in question of degree. So from here you would ask yourself, what is question of degree? Well, the question of degree sentence is expressing varying levels of intensity and quantity. And how do you decide it's marked or unmarked? That is, words of gradable antonyms that can be used in the question of degree to express varying levels of intensity and quantity is marked word. Here are examples of marked and unmarked words used in questions of degree. Let's look at the first example, how old are you? Versus how young are you? So the sentence, how old are you? The word old refers to a whole spectrum of a person's age, from when this person was born to when this person was dead. And it emphasizing the whole spectrum of, in this case, a person's age. Whereas in the sentence, how young are you? The word young refers to a particular and specific period of a person's age. It can be from a person's infant to the person's adulthood, from the person's adolescence to the person's middle age. And it doesn't refer to a whole spectrum of the scale. And the definition of questions of degree is referring to if the question sentence is asking the whole spectrum of a scale or not. So the first sentence, how old are you, is asking the whole spectrum of the degree. So gradable antonyms such as the word old is called unmarked, and gradable antonyms such as the word young is called marked. Let's look at the second example. How high is the mountain versus how low is the mountain? So in the sentence, how high is the mountain? The word high refers to a whole spectrum of the highness, from the bottom to the highest. In the second sentence, how low is the mountain? The word low refers to a particular highness of the mountain. Can be middle low, bottom low, or upper low, right? So according to the definition of questions of degree, sentence 1, how high is the mountain, refers to the whole spectrum of the highness from the bottom to highest scale. So gradable antonyms like the word high is called unmarked, and gradable antonyms like the word low is called marked. Let's look at rational opposites. Let's look at rational opposites. The concept of rational opposites is a pair of antonyms in which one word describes a relationship between two objects, A and B, and the other describes the same relationship when those two objects are reversed, such as B and A. Let's look at those example pairs. The first pair, give and receive. If I say, I give the pen to you, you can also say you receive the pen from me. So those two sentences are meaning the same, even though those two words are reversed. So it is a pair of rational opposites. Let's look at the second pair, lesser and lessee. If I say I'm the lesser of you, you can also say you are the lessee of me. Those two sentences are meaning the same, even though those two words are reversed. And it is also a pair of rational opposites. Let's look at the third pair, parent and offspring. If I say they are the parent of the kids, it can also be said they are the offspring of them. And those two sentences are meaning the same, even though those two words are reversed. And it is a pair of rational opposites. Let's look at the first pair, husband and wife. If I say, I'm the husband of her, you can also say, you are the wife of me. So those two sentences are meaning the same, even though those two words are reversed. Let's look at antiautonyms. The concept of antiautonyms is the words which have the same or nearly the same meaning, despite looking like antonyms. And let's look at some example pairs. The first pair, loosen and unloosen. From their appearance, they are looking like antonyms. It's like one's another's negation. However, they mean the same. Loosen, by definition, it is make something less tight or firm, less strict. And unloosen means undo or let free. So they both have the same concept of making something less firm and tight. Let's look at the second pair, flammable and inflammable. On the surface, from their appearance, they are looking like antonyms, seems like one another's negation. However, they also mean the same. Flammable, by definition, it is something easy to set on fire. And inflammable, by definition, it is something that is easily ignited and capable of burning. So they have the same concept of burning. And let's look at the third pair, ravel and unravel. From their appearance, they look like opposite to each other. However, they mean the same. By definition, ravel means untangle or free something, and unravel means undo twisted, knitted, or woven threads. So they have a common concept, that is to untangle something. So let's look at the first pair, iterate and reiterate. From the appearance, it look like opposite to each other, however, they also mean the same. Iterate means perform or alter repeatedly. And reiterate means say something again or repeatedly, often for emphasis or clarity. So they have the same concept, that is repeated. So if a pair of words that are looking like opposite towards each other or looking like antonyms, but they have the same meaning, so we say this kind of pair is Antiautonyms. Let's look at autoantonyms. The concept of autoantonyms is the words which are their own antonyms. That is, if the two meanings of a word that are opposite to each other, let's look at autoantonyms. The concept of autoantonyms is the words which are their own antonyms. That is, when two meanings of a word that are opposite to each other, this word is regarded as autoantonyms. Let's look at some example words. The first word, cliff. Meaning one, it is to split or sever something into parts. For example, the large axe is used to cleave the wood for fire. Meaning two, to stick or adhere to. For example, the white shirt cleaved to his back. We can see that meaning two and meaning one, they are opposite to each other. So the word cleave is autoantonyms. Let's look at the word dress. Meaning one, it is to put on clothes. For example, they dressed her in white hospital gown. Meaning two, it is to clean and prepare, especially poultry or shellfish, by getting rid of the feathers and the shells. For example, the cook is dressing the chicken for cooking. Let's look at the word exceptional. Meaning one, it means something's better than average, superior. For example, a child of an exceptional ability. Meaning two, it is deviating below average intelligence. For example, he's a notorious sinner with an exceptional character. We can see that meaning one and meaning two, they are opposite to each other. So the word exceptional is autoantonyms. Let's look at the word literally. Meaning one, it is an exact or true manner or sense. For example, words can be used literally and figuratively. And meaning two, it is used not as literally true or possible, of an exaggerated way to emphasize a statement. For example, we literally turned the world upside down to combat cruelty and injustice. So we can see the meaning one and meaning two, they are opposite to each other. So the word literally is autoantonyms. Alright, that's it.